I do want to revive an old segment we had earlier in the year. No of the week, as Tyler Gilbert, of all people, threw a no hitter last week. You might be asking yourself, who the fuck is Tyler Gilbert? And I think everyone was doing the same because that was his first career major league start. And he got a no hitter against the San Diego Padres for the Diamondbacks. That moved the Diamondbacks all the way up to 38 and 80 at the time. I'm not sure if they've reached the 40 win mark since that last week. But Gilbert was not the first major league pitcher to throw a no hitter in his first major league start. He's actually the fourth. The last one being a man named Bobo Holloman from the St. Louis Browns in 1953. So I guess that tells you a little bit about how rare this feat is, even though it has occurred before. We made no of the week because there was seemingly a no hitter going on in the majors every week for the first couple months. Then we saw the enforcement of the sticky substance ban, and so we suddenly didn't see so many no hitters, and now we get one in one of the least likely places. Along those lines, I kind of did a little bit of intel, and I think we need to maybe do some research and monitor this. But I'm wondering if we can see that, we definitely saw that spin rates had dropped right after the enforcement started. I'm wondering if those spin rates are coming back. And there's a few reasons I think that, one being this ridiculous no hitter came out of nowhere. But I don't know if you listen, you probably don't, but to Ian Happ's podcast, The Compound.
I do not.
Ian Happ, along with Zach Short, who is currently the Tigers shortstop, and Dakota, I forget his last name, minor league pitcher for the Cubs in Iowa, but they're all buddies from spring training in 2020. They started a podcast because there was nothing else to do after the world got shut down, much like you and I took advantage of building this podcast during the pandemic, the perfect hobby. They openly speculated that major league pitchers are definitely skirting the rules. And they pointed out that umpires are simply, consistently, but only checking hats, gloves, and belts, basically. And they're not checking anything else for sticky substances. And they're speculating, and they thought it was ridiculous for anyone to believe that other, major league pitchers haven't found a way around that by simply putting sticky stuff in their hair.
I would say Dylan Cease has sticky stuff in his hair.
Yeah.
He consistently goes like this, which you can't see if you're listening to the podcast, between pitches.
Well, and that happened we saw evidence of that the first week of enforcement, where Max Scherzer was constantly going to his hair, and that's where Joe Girardi went nuts, because apparently before that was not a mannerism that Max Scherzer ever did before. So we kind of brushed that aside at the time. But they even speculated on the Compound podcast that the pitchers are just putting it right on their hands. They're not, the umpires aren't checking hands. They're just checking gloves, hats, and belts. So why not put it right on your hands?
But they are checking the baseballs though.
But the chain of custody, we talked about that. You can check the baseball, but you could say that came from anywhere. You can't suspend a pitcher for that. So it's just, I guess my point is to believe that the sticky substance thing is behind us is naive at best. I would like to see if we can see what spin rates, if they dipped in June and July and they're, consistently ramping back up into August throughout the rest of the season. So I think
I have that website. I'll go look it. I'll go punch it into the New York Times article thing again.
You've got more homework.
I love it. I love the investigator.
So report back to us next week on that.
Yeah. Speaking of the sticky stuff thing, we failed to bring this up during the White Sox, but you saw the umpire didn't get over in time for Lance Lynn the other night.
Oh yes.
And he was having, he was having some sort of, he had to go to the trainer. He wasn't having a typical Lance Lynn outing, but he somehow was able to load the bases and then just get 3 straight outs. He put himself in peril twice in that game and got out of it without letting up a run. But he got into the dugout to be treated, and then he literally left his hat and glove on the edge of the dugout, and then the ump asked for his belt, and he threw the belt at him and got ejected. Now,
Yeah. You can't throw your belt no matter what the circumstance. There, you can't throw your belt at the ump. But
yeah,
I get Lance Lynn's consternation and annoyance at the what the fuck else is the ump doing? He needs to be there right away so he can get
right,
checked and go through the protocol.
yeah,
So then Lance Lynn can get his treatment, like you said, between innings.
yeah,
Lance Lynn's also famously surly,
yes,
kind of a dick in
yeah.
ways, entertainingly so. So I think yeah, getting disciplined for that is probably the appropriate thing, but I don't
Oh,
know.
I agree. I did think it was funny that he said, I guess I hurt his feelings."
I love Lynn. I'm glad he's re-signed with you guys for 2 more years after this.
Yeah,
Is
two
that
more
the deal?
years.
So
Yeah.
we will be endlessly entertained for at least through 2023. Thank you.